Greetings, honorable judges, fellow participants, and viewers. Firstly, let me introduce ourselves. We are the Battmen team, and we're going to explain a brief explanation of our white paper. The title is Urban Mining Achieving a Circular Supply Chain for Electric Vehicle Lithium Ion Batteries by Recycling.
Over the past few years, we have seen an immense demand growth for electric vehicles, particularly in the battery electric vehicle or BEV types. A study suggests that the electric vehicle market size will experience an annual growth of 24.5%, with the probability of becoming a $1 trillion market by the end of the decade. Auto companies have caught up with the trend, with big manufacturers such as Hyundai, Ford, and BMW starting to jump in the EV bandwagon.
The sudden growth definitely have brought significant impact to other industries, particularly the lithium ion battery industry. The lithium ion battery, or usually called the battery pack, constitutes to about 15 to 30% of the total cost in making an electric vehicle. Coupled with renewable energy storage, it is expected that the global demand for lithium ion batteries would surge exponentially, reaching new heights never before seen in the industry. The production of lithium ion batteries have been known to be tightly connected with the extraction of rare metals from the Earth's crust, such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel. This symbiosis between the two industry sectors have made the supply of lithium ion batteries totally dependent on the supply of critical metals, which are known to be in an oligopolistic market, have serious concerns regarding their practices which negatively affect the environment and the people surrounding their activities, while also it have been seen that the prices for these critical metals are relatively unstable in the global metal exchanges. Most of the global lithium, cobalt, and nickel supply is controlled only by six nations, which are Australia, Chile, China, Congo, Russia, and Indonesia. The oligopolistic market has strained battery manufacturers, mostly in Europe, China, and soon in Indonesia, to be solely dependent on a single source for their materials.
The conventional mining, or the geological mining for critical metals, have also come in the spotlight of environmentalists and human rights groups all across the world. Cases of environmental mismanagement and the omission of basic human rights among workers and surrounding communities have been in the focus of millions of people around the globe. Journals and research regarding the negative effect of critical minings and activities have been published every year. A summary of said researchers have shown that these mining activities are polluting surrounding environment with toxic chemicals while also producing a significantly large amount of greenhouse gases while accelerates global warming.
Another point that needs to be discussed is the instability of the critical metal prices. Lithium have been in a constant hike in their ore prices due to its natural scarcity in the Earth's crust, while also the slow response by the mining industry to expand and meet the growing demand. Nickel prices, on the other hand, while also gaining new highs, the metal is very controversial and it is used as a political weapon by some countries. This can be seen in the current conflict in Eastern Europe, where the price of nickel has increased nearly threefold just 10 days after Russia initiated an invasion on its neighboring country of Ukraine. Russia is one of the biggest nickel exporter in the world, and its political goals have destabilized the nickel market. These supply risks have told us that new ways and methods of gaining and extracting these critical metals should be investigated, while also meeting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in creating a clean and circular supply chain. The circular economy model have been implemented in many products all across the world, so it is no surprise to all of us that a more sustainable method for the case of lithium ion battery is through implementing the circular economy. Due to the exponential growing demand for the batteries, Conventional mining should still be carried out to meet the demand, but instead of throwing away batteries at its end-of-life state, we can still extract most of the metals contained inside the batteries and use it again as raw materials in making new batteries. This circular supply chain can help manage battery waste while also help fulfill the growing demand of critical metals. So how do we do the recycling? Our team suggested that urban mining is the solution in making lithium-ion batteries into a circular economy. We have devised a two-step method in extracting critical metals from used lithium-ion batteries from electric vehicles. First is the waste collection and pre-treatment, and next is the extraction of metals by hydrometallurgy. Lithium-ion battery waste is a hazardous material. Punctures or damages to the battery can result in thermal runaway, which causes fires and even explosions. Some components are also known to be toxic and damaging to the environment. Thus, proper waste management should be carried out exclusively for lithium-ion batteries. This is done in the first step of the urban mine after the battery waste are collected. This is done by discharging the residual energy contained inside the batteries. The batteries are then shredded and different materials can be gathered by physical separation. A material called black mass is then collected and brought to the hydrometallurgy process in which critical metals can be obtained. We suggest that these two-step methods is done in a system called the spoke and hub system, where small facilities or spoke plants gather and collect the battery waste and then pre-treats it by discharging, shredding, while also removing the hazardous properties of the battery waste. This removes the need to transport hazardous materials, thus reducing the operational expenses in the logistical point of view. Pre-treated waste can be then transferred to a larger plant called the hub plant, which is usually in the nation's or the region's industrial center, where the critical metals are extracted from the black mass. In the case of Indonesia, our discussion have led to a conclusion that the hub plant or the bigger plant used for the hydrometallurgy should be located in the Java Island due to the population density and the probability of lithium-ion battery waste to be produced near industrial and modern cities and also factories which are concentrated in the Java Island. Smaller spoke plants or the small plants for collecting and pre-treatment can be installed in each of the large islands to manage their own respective battery waste. This is then can be delivered to the hub plant by shipping or land-based logistics. Implementing the urban mine has its own pros and cons. With its pros are that it creates a sustainable chain of supply of critical metals. It brings the materials closer to its manufacturers, while also manages the increasing battery waste issue. Dependence towards the oligopolistic market can also be decreased by implementing the urban mine design. The drawback in this idea is that a huge amount of capital is needed in order to build the recycling infrastructure and jumpstart the process. Different regulation, culture, and attitude towards the recycling of waste and management between different countries and regions is also one of the primary setbacks in creating a unified circular supply chain. When successfully applied, the urban mine design must also compete with the existing conventional mining industry, which holds significant political and capital power, which may struggle with the transition process. We hope that our presentation can give new insights to the respectable judges and also our beloved viewers. Through creating a circular supply chain in the lithium-ion battery, the growth of electric vehicles can be supported, and also realizing the sustainable world that we have always hoped for. Thank you.